In this video, I'm showing images taken at Derwent Water and Borrowdale in the Lake District, and I show how to overcome the problem of flare when shooting into the sun when using a wide-angle lens.
So this is another video from my trip up to the Lake District, and this morning I'm at Derwent Water. Just round the corner from here there's a area they call Fry's Crag, and I've come round here into this bay. And the advantage of this is that I can look straight down Derwent Water, and I've got this very nice post that's going to give a nice leading line to the picture. Again, I'm using the OM1 and the 12 to 40 mil, and to make sure that I get everything sharp, I'm stopping down to f8. I'm getting a 3.2 second exposure using Live ND 32. Soft edge grad again for just a little bit of detail on the sky. I mean, to be honest, I don't really need it too much today, and it's giving me quite a nice picture. There's a bit of a ripple again on the water, so the reason for the long exposure is to try and flatten that out. Now the light's coming up from over there, but there's a big bank of cloud coming out that's cutting it out. A little earlier on there was a break in the cloud and it lit all this area up beautifully, and there's a world of difference between the pictures that have the light on the post and on the hills in the background, and when it's dull and quite sort of overcast. I think it's going to be some while before that light comes out again, but hopefully it might do. There's a little break in the cloud, and when it does come out, it's just lights that fence up beautifully. So I'll carry on taking a few more pictures. There's some beautiful clouds down the bottom of the valley, and they'll look nice capped around the top of the mountains. So when I'm doing this, I'm going to vary the exposure. So I tend to like to shoot for landscapes around f8. I don't like stopping down much more than that on the Olympus, because you get diffraction once you start going down to f11, f16, and the amount of depth of field that you get with this system is quite amazing. Although you could use autofocus, I find that because there's no rush, it's on a tripod, I can actually put it on a tripod, focus very carefully, and I use manual focus. And to check that I've got everything in focus, I use focus peaking, so the areas that I'm focused on will turn red, and that's a big advantage because you can see exactly sort of the hills in the background are in focus, and also the foreground's in focus. So I'm going to hang on around here for a bit longer. Hopefully maybe the light will come out there, but when it does, it lights this fence up really nicely. So when I'm setting the picture up and using manual focus, I'll often look through, I'll use a viewfinder to look through there, and then I can just fine tune the focus using the peaking. I do use a cable release, so that when I actually touch the camera, well, I fire the camera, I'm not actually touching it at all. You can use a 2-second delay, which works just as well. Now the light is actually just going to break out of there in a minute, and it's going to actually light that fence up. So just check my composition. So I'm checking the focus, the actual fence. Oh, that looks lovely. The light's just hitting that beautifully. And it's moments like that. Now, one of the problems that I'm going to have is I'm going to get a bit of flare. So what I'm actually going to do is actually going to hold my hand above the camera, just to shade the front of the camera so I don't get flare, so the light's not, because I'm more or less shooting into the light. I just sort of, oh, that's really nice. Now what I'm going to do now quickly is turn it into portrait format, recompose it. Check the focus and take another picture. So again, I need to just shield that bright light from going into the front of the camera, and that looks really nicely. Now I can see, looking here, I haven't quite got the horizon level. There is actually a thing on the Olympus where you can actually check the horizon is level. Now that light's going to go in a minute because it's just about to go behind that cloud. So one more shot. That looks actually very nice. So with this small rig, L bracket, you can very easily change from landscape to portrait, but with it just sticking out a little bit, you can still flip the screen out there. You can't tilt it much, but you can flip it out, and so it's still okay to do low angle shots. Must remember, when you change from format, if you're using a soft edge grad or any graduated filter, that when you change the formats you actually move the actual filter, because otherwise you're going to get half the picture darker than the rest of it. But the light's just going behind that cloud. I'm going to take one more. The light's just picking that up. I'm just going to reframe it, change the composition. And again, it's that sort of just using my hand to stop any flare. And that's lighting that fence up beautifully. And with a 3.2 second exposure, that's flattening that water out really nice.
So I'm going to finish off showing a few images taken in and around Derwentwater and Borrowdale. We went to the lakes during the second week of November in the hope of catching the autumn colours at their peak, and we were not disappointed. There are so many photographic areas around the shoreline of Derwentwater, it's a job to know where to visit. After taking images at Strandshag Bay, I went along to the Keswick end of the shoreline, and because it's a very popular viewpoint, I was not the only photographer there. There is a well-known gate and fence post a little way into the lake, and that can be very photogenic when the water level is high. I did find it quite difficult getting a pleasing composition without getting in the way of the other photographers, so after a while I decided to move on. Later in the day we met up with our friend Richard Spears, and because Richard lives locally, he took us to some of the areas that he knows well. We parked up in the Great Wood National Trust car park and walked down to the east side of the lake. Here there are numerous viewpoints looking across Derwentwater, and it's not difficult to find lots of interesting compositions. There are lots of interesting trees along the shoreline, and some look particularly spectacular when the roots are exposed. Because I wanted to travel light, I did not take the tripod on this occasion, and all these images in this section were taken handheld. I was using the OM1 and either the 12 to 40mm f2.8 or the 40 to 150mm 2.8. Having the flexibility of a wide angle and also a telephoto gave me lots of options as far as framing and composition. We then went with Richard to two of his favourite areas of Borrowdale. Fortunately, the lighting was good for most of the day, and the autumn colours in the trees looked spectacular. One advantage of going out with someone locally is that they will know the areas where you do not get lots of photographers. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button and subscribe to the channel to be notified of future uploads. Thanks for watching.